Get this started here, folks. Sorry about that. It's freaking ridiculous. The internet decide to mess with the internet. I'm not saying they as being conspiratorial, but it's a little odd. It took me an hour to get it going. Really, really, really annoying. Really, really, really not happy right now. I think there's certain things they don't want us to talk about. As long as you stay away from those certain things, you're fine. You start talking about things, if you think they can't listen to you, you're very gullible. Because it's never taken me this long to get my internet going. Okay, something's wrong here. I need my moderators, dude, to really be on top of things. Several other channels that have covered this topic have had issues with stuff, so let's be very vigilant. Like I said, I'm not trying to be all, whatever, but this seems like a hot button topic here. So let's settle in, folks. I got some stories that I wanted to go over, but it's already 9 o'clock at night. And so I'm going to get right into it. Once the chat fills up a little more, I'm going to get into it, and we're going to start talking. I know of 3 other channels who've had technical difficulties when dealing with this topic. So we did everything we could. We set it up as best we could. Let's read the Patreons real quick, guys. We got Adam Jinx, we got Brady Matsunaga, David Vigil, Dorothy Metcalf, Fat Squatch, Joyce Brunette, Maynard W, Titan. We got Alexander Murphy, Barbara Blendy, Cassidy Lee, Chris Clough, Curtis Turner, Cyrilli, David Allman, Dead Man Walking, Debbie Wolf, Derek Tribble, Dick Richards, Eric Garcia, Guy, James Estrada, Jim Kovach, Josh and Callie Herrera, Kenny Irish, Christy, Martin Hertel, Mary Plyler, Matthew Durgo, Melissa Koyman, Melissa Panay, Miguel Guerra, Mimi Piccolelli, Polly G, Pauline Rome, Philip Morn, Ricardo Herrera, Russell Nash, Shonda Hardinger, Sonia Girding, Stephen Hall, Super Hornet 1, Taylor Alexandra Oric, Terry Fusler, Tim Lewis, Tim Bernard, Vulcan Death Grip, and Extreme Reality Check. Those are people who are $10 or $20 tier from the Patreon. And I appreciate your support. And there's a multitude of other people who are on a different level. If you do the $10 tier, you do get your name read. Now, I'm going to get into that for a minute. If you are on the $20 tier and you haven't received anything from me, you need to message me on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or you can try to message me through Instagram, Josh Turner 940. That's the email. The Instagram. Let me see if I can go back and find the address. It's 6001 West Parmer Lane, Suite 370, PMB 131, Austin, Texas, 78727. 6001 West Parmer Lane, Suite 370, PMB 131, Austin, Texas, 78727. So that is the address you can use to mail. And I've got some pretty cool stuff that was sent to me. And Ryan Edwards, if you're listening, I have not even been up there to check for your package. I tried to go and I was late on Friday. And unfortunately, my wife and some members of my household are ill. I feel like on the upswing, starting to get over what I had. It wasn't nearly as bad as them. 4 people in my house got really ill. Like they're bad. It's in their chest and in their whatever. And I'm fine. It's just gotten like it was in my throat. I did what I gargle with colloidal silver, which I'm not recommending people to do that. If you're don't do it and then say Josh Turner told me to do it and then you turn blue. I'm not trying to create the Smurf Village here, dude. Thank you for that, Eric Garcia. Donations are appreciated, not expected, but they are actually kind of helpful right now because we are, as you know, putting together a Dogman conference. Now, I want to talk about that for a minute. People have been waiting to hear about that, and I'm waiting for a few people to get into the chat. But, okay, this Nelson, let me say something here. Okay, I don't know who this guy is. I'm gonna address you, dude. All right, here we go. Starting off here with this. I'm going to talk about doing something stupid here. Nelson Green Live, Vault of Nightmares is going to eat a knuckle supper when I show up to the Dogman conference. It's long overdue that someone put that wannabe Rambo in his place. Okay. Do you understand that there will be security, okay? And there will be people there, okay? And if somebody does something and tries to act silly or foolish, okay, this isn't me talking tough, talk about, just don't do it, okay? If you have a problem with someone, don't show up, okay? Don't show up, dude, okay? Because the chances are it's very, very probable that, these people, we're going to have armed people there that aren't going to allow you to perform this knuckle sandwich. As much as I would like to see people get in the ring and duke it out or whatever, I'm not for somebody showing up at my conference and assaulting or attempting to assault somebody that's there at the conference. I read your comment because you keep coming up and you keep coming on and saying stuff. And if you try to assault somebody, well, it's probably going to be me, okay, that's going to have to deal with you. Or it could be worse, okay? We don't want this kind of stuff going on. So can somebody please remove Nelson Green Live and block them forever? And thank you, James and Scorpion and Dee and Anthony and Tony, for doing your jobs, getting rid of this person, okay? You will get kicked out, and hopefully you will be prosecuted. And if you assault somebody in front of me, I'm going to do what I got to do, okay? And then y'all can put it on YouTube. You'll see what's, because like I said before, when you show up, you will find these hands are quite operational when you arrive. So, I can't do the Emperor's laugh. I'm trying to. Let me tell you something. This event, there's never going to be one like it again unless we do it. Okay? Look at the lineup there, dude. Okay? I'm going to try and remember by memory because I don't have it written down right here in front of me. And for whatever reason, my phone is acting screwy because why? I don't know. I can't even get it to do what I want it to do. This is ridiculous, dude. We're having some issues here, folks. Technical issues. And getting on to Facebook has become a problem for me for some reason. It was okay, and now all of a sudden everything's just... So what we have... Vault obviously is going to be there. He's in Kumbo Baker. We'll start with the guys south of the Mason-Dixon line. Jody Cook will be there. Ken Gerhardt for sure. Me, Nick Redfern. Barton Nunley. I'm trying to remember everybody. I know Ashley is going to be there along with hopefully Ryan will show up if he can make it. He better, I'm going to pay for your plane ticket, Ryan. You better get there. And then, of course, I got Bettina Moss. She's going to be there in attendance. Trying to think. And then from the north is Nick Valente, Kenny Irish. Steve Stockton's going to be flying in. Steve Stockton and me had a really good conversation. Josh Nanocchio from What Lurks Beneath. If you haven't seen his channel, it's good stuff. I got Steve Stockton coming on next Tuesday. And we're going to do a little bit of talking, and then I'm going to do a set with him for the Friday podcast. Steve Stockton has a great, big, large YouTube and podcast. He's got a huge podcast. So does Josh Nanocchio. These guys are doing like 180,000 listener type stuff. Okay. Steve also has written really a lot of good books. I read My Strange World. It was really good. And so he's sending me some more of his books, and so I'm going to be reading some more of his books. Another thing, too, if I leave somebody out, you know, if I didn't mention whatever, I think Brian Bowden's going to be there. I'm hoping that he's going to show up. Anybody who wants to speak, if you are somebody who has a podcast or a following, you know what I mean, or a book, okay? People are trying to tell me that I should have this person or that person, and why did I not have this person? And I've had a bunch of people jumping on me trying to tell me, why didn't I get invited to speak or whatever? You're invited to do whatever you want. You can show up at the conference. Tony Merkel, yeah, and Ron Murphy, D.A. Roberts, Elijah Henderson. There we go. Trying to get them all out there. But if I left you off, I'm sorry, but I had people coming to me trying to get on this venue. Okay, so it's been very difficult for me to tell people no. I don't want to turn people away and say, look, we have 12 speakers already, but we do. And we're going to have like 7 or 8 that are going to talk and do presentations. And then we're going to have people who are going to have a panel, that are going to be on the panel. Okay. And so I want there to be some interaction with the people on the panel. Now, 300 tickets after you take out the speakers and their significant others and everything else leaves us about 260. Actually, I don't know, Ken, if you're in the live stream, if you could put the exact number on there that we're going to be able to sell. And Titan says, Josh, is the conference strictly Dogman topics? No. No, it is not. And I did also, you know, I limited the speakers to people that I know personally that I'm friends with. Sorry. Some people were like, hey, you know, do you know who I am? I'm such and such, and I'm kind of a big deal. And I'm like, really? Because I'm not really friends with you. So I've gotten some flack, and some of the groups are like, oh, Josh Turner's only picking people that he's friends with. You know how stupid that sounds? You know how stupid that sounds? That sounds ridiculous, dude. That sounds absolutely stupid, okay? Yeah, that makes sense. You would pick people that you're more comfortable dealing with because you've dealt with them, rather than somebody that you don't know that well, that you're not like friends with, and they just come out of left field. I don't know what kind of person this is. I don't know how well you play with others. I mean, yeah, you're somewhere on there doing whatever, but I don't know you, dude. So, I mean, that's it. Sorry. People get all, you know, hurt and whatever, and well, good luck with your conference. It's going to fail. Well, maybe it will. It's the first one, and we'll see what happens, but I don't really care. You know, failure is how you progress, folks. You don't go in and go, yeah, I want to fight the champ. I've been watching a lot of boxing, and I got a pretty good combo here, and I think where's Holyfield? I think I'm going to beat him up. Give me Tyson Fury. I'll rough this guy up, man. I was in the parking lot, and I was doing Taibo, and felt like I could, you know, I think I'm ready to fight Tyson. He's old now. Let's get him. I don't think you want none of this, bro. I really don't think you want them hands. Like that guy on the plane. Guy messes with Tyson for 20 minutes, and Tyson finally gives him a knuckle supper, as this person was so righteously saying earlier. And the guy's like, you know, like, I only wish he would have knocked him unconscious, you know, because the guy just, you know, really had it coming. See, Carlos says every millionaire started with the penny. And I'm going to dispel something right now. I'm going to say this on the air, and I'm going to say it, and it is the absolute truth, and not going to take away any money from this thing. What I'm taking away from it is building my brand, and all I'm trying to do right now is break even. If I break even, every dime I get beyond that is going to the speakers. That's it. If you are going to be a speaker on the, hey, B, nice to see you in the chat, B Moss. If you're going to be a speaker of my deal, okay, I already told everybody, I don't know what I can pay you, all right? Everybody knows that. I'm throwing it out there. So what I need from you is just to be understanding, and I'm going to pay for your lodging and your transportation, and I'm going to give you every bit of the profit that we make from the door, from the raffles, whatever, to pay you. to give you. So I'm not taking away anything from this. I don't need it. I'm not independently wealthy. I'm not an international man of travel and, and success, No, but I do have 2 other successful businesses. So this isn't, I don't do this for the money. I had a long conversation with Nick Valente and Barton Nunley too last night. They both understand, and they're 2 friends that have seen me get attacked over and over again. People were saying in the NADP, Josh Turner's trying to just make up stories and get money and blah, 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 blah. Really? Because this is not my bread and butter. There are a lot of people that do this for a living. I'm not one of them. I don't need this. I can quit today and I will be completely okay with going off and doing what I do. Not going to break me. There are other things that will. This is not one of them. Ken Gerhardt says there will only be 265 tickets available for the Dogman conference. Now, that brings us to the next part of, before we get into the exciting part of the show. Let's get these prelims out. Anthony, can you tell me the site, what they have to do? You're going to have to explain this because you were working on this last night while I was busy. While I was getting the stuff for the show together last night, you were working on the event. Now, you want to explain that?
Yeah, well, the tickets aren't for sale yet. The event page isn't up yet. We're still getting it up. We're still working everything out. But as soon as that event page is up, we'll drop a link. It's going to be on this website called Eventbrite, where you can buy your tickets to it. And you'll have more information the moment we have it. So.
Okay, so everybody get that. Did y'all hear that? If you didn't hear it, tell me, hey, I didn't hear this, and let's get it out there. Because I need everybody to hear what was being said. Eventbrite, folks. So one of the things I was going to talk about with these dog attacks that we're going to get a couple people on here that are going to speak. They're going to say something about these attacks. Now, when this starts, okay, I don't want a bunch of people, going off in the chat trashing these forces that are going back and forth, because there's one that is saying, hey, these are explainable, not all of them, but some of them. And then another person that's saying these aren't explainable. So when that starts, I don't want a bunch of nonsense going on, dude. I don't need it because I don't want to have to kick people out, dude. Let's just be civil here. Let me make sure that they're ready. Let me see if I can get this going here. Yeah, the conference is going to be in Tennessee, folks. Okay, VIP tickets will include Friday night meet and greet with speakers as well as preferred eating for the conference. And I'm still working on the food thing. We don't know for sure how we're going to do that. Now, it is a few months, but it's not really a long way away. So it's going to be in Paris, Tennessee. I didn't pick that. I blame Ken. Ken picked that. So if it's a bad spot, Ken did it. And then let me make sure that this other person is ready. And then we'll get to it. Loki, love me some dog attacks. What kind of dog is it you got now, Loki? You need to come out and tell us. You got this really smart dog that you just got. Very beautiful dog, too. I handled dogs for a while. That was on my resume is one of the things I did. I did it off and on for 3 or 4 years. I mean, if you took all told, and I had Mastiffs, German Shepherd, I trained Dobermans. We dealt with Belgian Malinois, Bouviers. You name it, we handled them. Rottweilers. Dutch Shepherd, that's what Loki's got. Loki's got a Dutch Shepherd. Now, Loki used to dog sit for me when I had Ivan, my Mastiff. And they got him into these powerfully breed dogs. Okay, it will be a one-day event with VIP ticket holders able to have an extra meet and greet dinner with the speakers the day before the conference. I got good news, too. Here's another thing. Barton Lindley, I talked to him just before I got on the air, and he had a long conversation with Linda Godfrey. Now, we left her name off because we don't know how good a health she's going to be in or whatever. Ken had made the suggestion that we could have her come on through, possibly through like put her up on the screen and she could talk, if she's okay with that. But she wants to attend, okay? Barton told me that. He talked to her today and had a long conversation with her, and she wants to attend. And that's what I want. And if she wants to talk, then she's more than welcome to talk. Because like Ken said, as far as we're concerned, she's Dogman royalty. And if she wants to speak, she's more than welcome to get up there and speak and do whatever she wants to do. And definitely, hopefully she'll have a table and whatever. And I've been communicating with Linda for a long time. And unfortunately, someone else created a conference. I'm not going to mention any names or promote them, but they've been going from group to group, making a big stink about me. But who cares? They're just promoting me. I was like, good, let them keep going. Promote me all you want. And they don't like Linda. And they don't like me. And they don't like Nick Valente. And they basically don't like any of us, but that's fine. But she can be mad and be up there where she's at. But, her fake conference, whatever that's going on. Yeah, I said it. Your fake counterfeit conference, whatever. Anybody goes to that. Like all these people like, yo, you've heard of this guy and that guy and this girl and that girl? No, never have. Who are they? Well, we were driving along and we were like, hey, can you speak? And they're like, how much? They're like, I don't know, like $10 in a bottle of wine or something, whiskey. What do you drink? Night Train? Yeah, pretty much. King Cobra. I got these some bug or something. Oh, you want me to speak? Is this what we talking about? Well, we're talking about werewolves. Can you talk about that? We'll give you $5, but put the squeegee down. Yeah, I guess I could do that, man. Let me take a shower. I haven't in a couple weeks. Let me get sober. Just talking about these dogs. I'm not saying that that's the kind of people that are speaking at the conference, but that's what I've heard people are speaking at the conference. I have no verification on that, folks. Do not go back and say that Josh Turner said that, although Josh Turner did say that. I'm just saying that I don't know, but that just seems to be the kind of people that will, because I've never heard these people, man. And I'm not downing people who drink Mad Dog, okay? If you're into 2020, that's perfectly fine. You do you, bro. You do you, okay? But then Diablo pointed out, that's my brother. Yeah, he pointed out Indy 2020. Remember with me, you, and Keith, we used to drink that D back in the day. We were kids. We were youngsters. But let me just say this, okay? Some of the people that they got on there, on their docket or whatever you want to call it, the billing, like, who are these people? Okay? I don't know who these people are, It's like on Young Guns. That their gun killed Ed Rollins or whatever. He's like, who? Like, who the heck are you talking about? Who the heck is Ed Rollins? They know about Dogman? Yeah, that seems like they just rounded up some people. So, hey, we're going to have Fontaine and, whatever. And they're going to come out and they're going to speak. They're going to talk. No, you're not. Because we don't know who the heck you are. So we're bringing people on there that you're going to want to see. Okay? You're going to want to hear what these people have to say. And it's not this conference. Let me tell you something. I'm going to stress this, and I can't stress it enough. It's not about me. This conference is not for me to go up there and go, yeah, and talk and whatever. I'm going to get up there and speak. Yeah, but this conference is for these people that are going to come and talk about Dogman, because you guys, the listeners, audience, you get to meet me. That's great. And I'm not saying, oh, it's wonderful to meet me. What I'm saying is it's not for that. Okay. It's for you, my paratroopers, as we're called, getting to meet all these wonderful people and speakers that I've had the pleasure to know, and I want you to know them and get to know them. And I just want you to be able to experience that. I promise you, that's what this is. And it builds the brand, and that's all we need. Okay, and so, and Ken said that there are 4 hotels in Paris, Tennessee, plus lodges with cabins for rent nearby in the LBL. Exciting, and it is in the LBL. Okay, now, here's the thing. We are doing this conference for you, the listeners, the people who want to know about this subject, who are trying to, learn, and we're trying to work together to get all this, and other people are going to be there to talk about it. Now, it's not about me and Paranormal Roundtable. Yes, Paranormal Roundtable and Ken Gerhardt are hosting this. It's a collaboration between us. But we already did the math. Me and Ken aren't really going to walk away with money. We're just trying to pay people, to do the, to go and be there, to talk. And that's what we're hoping, that we make enough money to do that. It is a who's who of the cryptid world, as far as I'm concerned. I had no problem getting any of these people to go too. I didn't even have to offer anybody money or anything. Every one of these people that agreed, they were just like, hey, tell me what you want and I'll do it. And very gracious people, everybody that agreed to go. And then I had people reaching out to me and said, hey, I'd like to be a part of it. Sure. If I knew them personally. And if I told you no, and there were a few people that I had to turn down, I'm sorry. I could not put everybody, we can't have 24, 36 people speaking on this thing. We just can't do it. There's enough hours in the day. And I've never done this before, and I have some people advising me, and so I'm going to trust their judgment on it. And so that's what's going to happen, yeah. So we're going to do this, and I want you folks to be able to talk to these people, meet these people, hear these people speak and what they have to say about it, and do their presentations and then the panel. Curtis Turner, thank you for that. Thank you for that donation. So that's what's going on. It's not going to be about me. I'm not going to be up there and talking and like I told some people already, I said, dude, y'all can get up here and talk to me all day long. Y'all can hear me talk all day. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be up here, and y'all can, anytime you want. And Tuesdays and Fridays, you hear my voice. But it's the other people, okay, that's the big deal. That's the big draw, Motel James says, Hernandez Ranch. I haven't seen you in a while, Motel. What's going on? So Hernandez Ranch is coming up Friday with the next installment in that series. And then we've already started working on the cases that'll round it out, which will be 2 or 3 hours of material coming out probably in another 2 months, because we got all our stuff, ready for the next 6 weeks on the Friday show. Next week, I got Steve Stockton coming on. I'm going to tell some stories, and of course, Steve's going to tell some stories. Week after that, Josh Nonocchio from What Lurks Beneath will be on. He's a good guy. Had a really great long conversation with him. He's a good kid. I like him a lot. He's not a kid. He's 30 years old, but he's a good guy. So we had a really good conversation. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this first call. We're going to get going on this. We're going to start the show with this, really get into this. So that's what's going on with the conference. And let me see. Okay. And Barton had made a post about Linda too, actually. What's going on? Headphones.
Yeah.
So one other thing I wanted to say, folks, I'm waiting for one of these people to get ready. They're getting their material together. So I'm going to give them a few minutes. One of the things I wanted to say, somebody in one of the groups I'm in, and I'm in a lot of them, and so they decided to get smarmy with me, snarky, whatever. Holly, thank you so much. Always so gracious. Here's a little something to go towards the conference. Cost not much, but I wanted to help. So many amazing speakers that are taking the time to be a part of this. I know it will be fire. Thank you so much. Holly, you're always so generous to us. Thank you. We appreciate it. Everything we can do to pay toward the conference and get these people paid helps. Every bit helps. Folks, I had somebody say something, and they said, Josh Turner, this was in the comments, and they said, Josh Turner has contradicted himself once again, because some people make it their mission, their life's mission, and I'm very pleased that they do that. It gives me a lot of energy. That's why I'm able to bounce around so well and look so young. But they make it their life's mission to follow me around, and they hang on every word I say and absolutely declare that they hate my guts. Now, it's odd to me that you would spend so much time and hours of your day, which I can't find enough hours in the day to do everything I want to do. Where are you? I guess you're one of those people that are like, hey, buddy, what's up? You need your windshield washed? You're one of those people because you obviously don't have a job. Or your job gives you a lot of leniency to where you can just go around and talk about me all day. Now, there's a few of them. There's like the player haters ball, like, you know, they used to say. And these player haters, they're in a little cabal now because they're skulking in the shadows behind the cactuses, taking pot shots at me every chance they get. One of the things that this guy said was, he said, Josh Turner once again contradicted himself. He said, Josh Turner claims on the episode of These Woods Are Haunted, episode 3, or it's season 3, episode 1. I did the first set on there with Scorpion. And he said he claims that was the scariest thing that ever happened to him. But he also said that the encounter with his Dogman was the scariest thing that ever happened to him. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, foolish one, because I'm going to take you to school right now. What I'm telling you right now, and this is for everybody to hear, okay? The scariest thing that ever happened to me was being at that, what was not even a church, okay? And he said, I looked it up, the church isn't blah, 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 blah. It wasn't even a church, dude. This was a Pentecost group that was trying to turn that into a church. It hadn't been a church in 60 to 80 years from what I was told by the workers. And now it's a pile of rubble because they eventually tore it down because they didn't do nothing with it. A lot of electrical issues. I'm not saying they're ghosts, but they were ghosts. And so there was a lot of problems. So they couldn't do what they wanted to do with it. They couldn't even get the construction to work. It was a crazy place. When you're out there by yourself, okay, and your vehicle won't start, all right, and you've had 5 other people before you, or 6 other people before you, who had already left in the middle of the night, and that was your turn, okay? And I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking right at the camera, and if I meet you in person, I'll look you dead in your eye, and I won't flinch, and I'll tell you the exact truth. Yes, I was scared, okay? I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm a man, and I'm not afraid of other men, okay? But, yeah, I was scared, and if you run across a Sasquatch or a Dogman, I'm sure you'd be scared too. The difference was I was 15 years old when I saw this werewolf-looking creature that I saw, and there were other people around, okay? And I was right there in a city street where I was 20 feet from the house where I could run in. I had to go past it. Okay, I had to go past it. And it was terrifying. And up to that point in my life, it was probably the scariest thing that I've ever seen. And there have been a lot of really scary things that have happened to me. A lot of things scary have happened to me. I'm not going to lie. I'm what you would call an experiencer. People, there are people like that, okay? I'm not a BS artist. I'm not up here bull crapping. That's why people show up. Most of the stories that I've told you that were my personal experiences, 90% of it can be verified with people that were with me. These things happen to more than one person. Now, that thing happened to me by myself that night, but it happened to several of my people that worked for us. One of them came on the show with me. That's Gary Scorpion. He's in the chat. He's a tough guy. He's not a weenie. He's not a scaredy guy. But he tried to get away from that place and without a vehicle, okay? I can only imagine what he went through. I've told him many times what I went through was terrifying, but at least I was inside my vehicle. He was not. And I can't even imagine how scared he was. Didn't talk about it for a long time. And finally, Nellie got it out of him one time. We were at the casino and had a few drinks, and he told her the scariest thing that ever happened to him. And that was it. And it was probably the scariest thing that ever happened to me. I'd say it was. The Dogman was the scariest thing second to that. So contradict me, whatever. Yeah, but the Dogman thing was pretty darn terrifying. Yeah. But I would say being alone at that place was probably worse if I had to choose one or the other. And I'm not up here trying to hoodwink people, you know, and like, oh, I was terrified. No, this one was scarier, you know. Okay, yeah, they're both scary. You know, and so there, I said it. All right, so let's quit playing around. This person, okay, we're ready to go here. Good deal. All right, I'm gonna call this person, and we're gonna get started. I just wanted to clarify that, and I was giving them a few minutes here. I think they're both ready now. God, I look so weird with these headphones on. You know, fat little head, like Campbell's Soup is good food head. Whatever. Sometimes I look okay, and then other times I just look really fat. When I put these glasses on and these headphones, I look really fat. Look at this. You take them off and you're like, hey, what's up? Then you put them on, you're like, I don't know, folks. I give up. I think I'll just go eat pizza. I'm done. I'm just tired of this. Tired of life. Go eat the buffet. Never gonna work out again. Just give up. So many people do that. I tell people who want to give up and not do anything, it's like, you can always get worse. You can get bigger. Believe me, you can get a lot worse. Oh, that's loud. Hello?
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Dana, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you, hon?
I'm good. Don't be nervous. We're all here. We're all friends. Okay?
Okay.
Don't be afraid. We're gonna get through this. All right?
Okay.
We'll turn
Where?
your headphones down if they're too loud for you.
God, my headphones are loud. Can everybody hear Dana? Say hello, Dana, to the audience.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. So, Dana, the reason that we got you on tonight, and obviously it's been a hot button topic that's been, you know, buzzing around. Do you want to talk about what you got? What we're here to talk about?
In Newport, Tennessee.
Whichever one you want to talk about. Now, I got several that was sent to me by a member of my team, and then I got a friend of mine who sent me some stuff, and she said that the names of the people, and that this is the one in Cobb County, right? That's
Yes. Yes.
And then it happened again in Dallas, and it happened in Kiefer, and now we know that there were some that had happened in California and Illinois. But that goes on, and now there's all these people saying that it's not real. Other people saying that it's happening all the time. I'm here to be impartial, okay? But I'm willing to let you tell your piece, because you've sent me a lot of information, which I unfortunately have not been able to process all of it. It was too much.
Yeah.
So just tell me in your words what you think is going on, and we'll do the Cobb County, Tennessee. We'll start with that one.
Oh, there's the inconsistency, the law enforcement, and in every city and county that this is happening, they'll end up saying it's an animal attack, but then when you get to reading into the article, then it's dogs. Well, you know, animal is not specific, is it? It's not a specific species.
Mm-hmm.
But then they end up saying a dog. Now there's where I draw the line. An animal could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know what they're talking about, and I believe they're being told to falsify documents. Documents are falsified all the time.
Mm-hmm. And so your opinion on the Cobb County, Tennessee case. Okay, there were 2 people killed.
Yes, 2.
Okay. Mauled to death. And in your opinion, what do you think it is?
I believe it's a cryptid. I couldn't say that it was a Dogman, but that's basically what I'm feeling that it is. Mm-hmm. This is not predation of a dog or a wolf or a coyote. It's just not. Mm-hmm. They don't go in for a kill like that. The one thing that I am seeing with these things, they're not targeting the dogs that are with people. They're targeting human beings. They're going after human flesh. You know that they could catch a four-legged dog running because they're quicker than lightning. But that's not what they're doing. And they're intelligent enough to lure people in, just like the doctor from Georgia. I mean, I know I'm kind of skipping around, but there's something that how they can control or know what you're thinking, know how to play on your empathy. Because the doctor, they said she was a very well-loved doctor, and she was an avid animal lover. Well, I think she believed she saw an animal in distress in the ditch and turned around to see if she could see about it, and it lured her in and set her up for the kill. So, but the ones in Scott County, how can they say dog did this when they've made notation and note? I can't find the video on it because it was removed, but they were talking about it. Found large hind canine paw or feet prints, then deep slash marks around the hind paw print. That's pointing to an upright bipedal canine. Sounds like it's got hands and nails.
Okay.
So how can they turn around and say, that it would be obvious that it would be a four-legged dog when you know it's not?
And so you are of the opinion that these are all, like all these cases are? Or are you saying like some of them are, and there's just a cover up, or what are you saying that exactly?
I believe they're and all of them they're cover-ups, because when they'll say animal, then they'll say dog. Well, which one is it? An animal could be anything. But then they'll say, we think, or it may be, or it's our opinion. But that's not, that's not DNA lab work. We can't give anything but an opinion.
And crypto normal encounters with B. Moss, everybody knows who Bettina is. You can read her comments there, folks. I'm not even going to say them. They're just right there because it's gruesome. So I'm going to say this. Now, I'm trying to be impartial here, but folks, go back to my archives. If you haven't heard Texas Wolfmen, is that the name of the episode, Anthony? Is it just Texas Wolfmen? Is that the name of the episode? I can't remember if it's the full name or not, but it's Texas Wolfmen. Anyways, I talk about a story on there where I talked to a police officer who used to work, in my hometown, and he told me, one of my guards and Gary, and one of the event people that was putting on the barbecue cook-off, he told us, it was four of us, all right there together, five of us, I guess. And he told us a really crazy story about, some people that were basically torn apart in the late 60s, the early 70s, and they were near the railroad tracks and in the railroad cars. And they were told that they were to make it, the report was not to be filed, that they were going to say, hey, this didn't happen here, it happened in another county, and they showed up on the railroad cars like that. And he said one of these guys looked like he had been put through a blender. And they didn't even try to say, oh, it was a dog attack. They didn't try to say anything. They just pretended like it didn't happen because what are you going to say? And they didn't want the whole town, in the small town Texas back in the day, people are going to be up in arms, dude, and they're going to be out there shooting at everything that moves. And so they didn't want a big mess, and they didn't want people freaking out, and they didn't want the workers. It was cotton season. They didn't want the workers and the cotton gins that were loading up the railroad cars panicking and not going to work. So it was basically just hushed. I mean, it was a crazy thing. But I grew up knowing a lot of these stories, but not knowing the full extent of them. But when I was doing the research on it, this guy knew about my encounter too, because whenever I had my encounter, the next day my mother called him directly. It was two officers that my mom was friends with, a small town Texas, like I said, and they came over to the house, nothing formal, whatever, and they just talked to me. And this gentleman and his partner, who I think his partner is retired now for a few years, but they told me they asked me if I was okay and everything. And they interviewed my friend, who's now a preacher in my hometown. They talked to him. They went by his house, and they asked us what happened. And they told us that this was not a first-time event. What we saw that night was not a first-time thing. And it wasn't until years later when this said officer was inebriated at the barbecue cook-off that I was doing security for, which now was probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It's been years. Where one of my guards, or two of my guards, and one of the people that was the coordinator or whatever, we were all there and we started talking. Now she walked off, and then all the rest of us kept talking. But he was inebriated. I'll admit that. But I don't think he was lying. And he did say that this stuff had happened. And so by the time he had came to me and told me that, he was already retired, he was done working, and he was very adamant that this really happened. Okay, and I did not ever betray his trust while he was alive and go around telling people what he told me, because I didn't want people to, and he didn't want to be looked at as crazy. But I trust his judgment. I think he knows what he's talking about, and he talked to me about it because he knew that I had that experience. And he was a nice guy. He had checked on me a couple times later in my life when I'd see him around town. I was pumping gas one time and he pulled up and we started shooting the breeze. And he had told me that day that that was probably right before he retired. And he had told me that there were people who had come forward and had some weird stuff happen. And the next county over, there were some incidents. But it does happen. And law enforcement is kind of put in an awkward position where they can't come out and say, this is a dogman, because how do you say that? And then how are officers supposed to respond when their superiors are telling them, you can't put that on a report?
Exactly.
I mean, it's just that you just can't. And it's like UFOs. I've talked to a multitude of officers who've seen UFOs. And so, I mean, they get made fun of pretty hard. I mean, there's one of them in a small town right outside of here that I talked to maybe 3 months ago, back in February. How many months ago was that? And he got rode pretty hard by his fellow officers, like, oh yeah, you're seeing a little green man, blah, 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 making fun of him. He's like, I never said I saw aliens. I saw a UFO. I saw it twice. And they were like, oh, you saw it twice. It must be stalking you. Did you miss time and everything else? Well, one of the officers told him that, and I said, well, if he knows about missing time, obviously he knows a little more about it than he's letting on. He's probably just going with the crowd, following the herd, because that's what people do, because they don't want to be thought, that you're different. Much less thought of as crazy or the village, idiot, So I get where you're coming from, but you're saying that this is all, like, all these attacks. You're talking about the ones that happened. And I'll go over it again here, like Antoinette Brown in Dallas, Texas. You think that was a dogman?
Yes, I do.
And the Kiefer, Oklahoma attack, you think that was a dogman?
And there was a little girl about 60 or 70 miles away from Kiefer that she was attacked. She lived through it, slashed her, and she said it had short, puffy tails. But I would love to hear what that little girl had to say. I would love to even hear what Amber Miller had to say, because she was coherent enough to tell Mr. Mays that, please don't let me die. She was talking to him on the way to that hospital, and what she said to those doctors, I know they've all been sworn to just keep their mouth shut.
The problem is, though, that we can't just go out and say all this because we don't have any proof. That's the problem.
That's what I believe. I swear to it, but in your heart, she didn't just stop there. She was in distress and going into shock, and you need to talk to people when they're going into shock to try to prevent them from doing it. However, with 42% of her flesh ripped off, it was really hopeless. Poor girl.
Now here, let me go to the other side now and say, why would you think that the dogs wouldn't do this? Because dogs do this. I mean,
I know they can, but it's strange that this would happen almost in the same identical place, two of them like 2 or 3 months apart, and then everything kind of backs off. I just don't believe a dog would do this. I know the man that put in jail, he had commanded one of his dogs to attack an officer.